Hi, welcome to Real Vision. I'm Sergio Silva, and I'm excited to be here today with Tony Herrera and GMoney to talk about NFTs and CryptoPunks. Tony, G, welcome.
Thank you, Sergio. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us. Excited to be here.
Guys, so let's jump right in. CryptoPunks, the original NFT avatar project launched by a team called Larva Labs back in 2017. There's 10,000 different characters with different attributes and rarities. They really took off over the last, call it 6 to 9 months. But the project's been around for 4 years now. So, Tony, let's start with you. You claimed a number of punks back when they were originally launched. How did you find out about them? What made you say, hey, I want to be a part of this? And how was that process that day?
So CryptoPunks were released in June of 2017. And a little bit before then, I had gotten into the Ethereum ecosystem, into the Ethereum, kind of discovered Bitcoin and then Ethereum, and was kind of learning about the Ethereum blockchain. And I believe it was a Mashable article that sort of highlighted the upcoming release of the Larva Labs. Matt and John had released we're going to release the CryptoPunks, which you could claim at that time. And I remember that I was reading about it in the Mashable article, and I was like, okay, I was trying to figure out how the process was going to be to claim them. And at the time, I believe we were using the Mist wallet, so that was an Ethereum Foundation wallet. It's kind of like the UI, the user interface was a little bit different than some of the wallets today. So I was trying to figure out how to do it, and I remember I couldn't really figure it out, and so I actually had my nephew who was working, temporarily in the summer job here in the office, and I said to him, he's a computer science major, so I asked him, I said, hey, can you help me figure this out? And I said, I'll even, and at the time I was really bullish on Ethereum, still am, but at the time I was really bullish on Ethereum and the blockchain. And so I actually offered him, I believe, a half an Ethereum or a full Ethereum to help me figure it out. So he quickly figured it out. And so then basically when it got released, I spent pretty much first, I really fell in love with just the whole pixelated, pixel 24 by 24, art of the for whatever reason they just appealed to me, and so I set upon trying to claim as many as I possibly could on the day of the release. So the day of the release, I spent pretty much the entire day just kind of copy and pasting the code to be able to claim them. So I claimed a bunch, and
sort of a few hundred, right?
I claimed a little bit over 100. I claimed a little bit over 100. And sort of, got back to my day job, didn't really pay attention to them, and then just left them there. I actually, believe it or not, I really actually liked the art, and I just kind of had no idea that they would rise in value the way they have, and I sort of just kept them, and I really didn't pay attention too much to them until I read a little bit more about how they were appreciating in price. And by then, the hard drive that I had claimed them on had got corrupted. So I actually lost access to my CryptoPunks for about a year and a half. Didn't really know whether I was going to be able to recover them. And then finally, much to my my pleasure, being able to I had the seed phrase, so recovered the seed phrase to the wallet. So I was able to recover the CryptoPunks, and for the most part, they sat there. Until they started rising in value, and that's when I started getting pinged by people wanting to buy some of my punks.
So you got lucky there, a happy ending so far with your story. And GMoney, I know you discovered punks differently, and you're more of an investor. Tell us your story and how you came about CryptoPunks and your decision to, at the time, make a record purchase for the ape that you are using now as your avatar.
Yeah, so I got involved in crypto in 2017, and then like in 2018 towards the cycle high, I was like, you know what, like I'm going to come back to blockchain tech. It's great, but it's years away, and so I was away from the space for a while, and then in 2020, a couple projects that I invested in were unlocking, and I started going back down the crypto rabbit hole. And what ended up happening is like, I learned about DeFi and I was messing around with DeFi, and, I heard about NFTs over the summer last year. And it wasn't until like August or September, I actually was like, when DeFi died down, I was like, all right, let me take a look at what's going on. And it instantly made sense to me, in the sense that like, the reason why it did was because on the first day of quarantine last year, I bought a PlayStation and I downloaded Fortnite, and I hadn't played a video game in 10 years. And I start playing with my friends and their nephews, and these kids are 10 years old. And the first question they ask me is, what skins did I buy? And I'm like, these skins don't give me any special powers. I'm not buying any skins. That's so dumb. One week later, 2 weeks later, I'm buying any kind of cool skin that I can get my hands on. And so like, I realized that there was going to be this massive super cycle of digital ownership, because that kid is 10 years old today, but in 10 years, he'll be 20 with his own discretionary income. And so I was like, I don't know how to take advantage of it, right? Like, I come from a traditional finance background. I've been trading equities for the last 15 to 20 years. And so I was like, this is just something I need to keep my eye on. And I didn't know what an NFT was. But when I found out what an NFT was, I was like, oh my God, like, this is revolutionary. And so, I started going down the NFT rabbit hole. And at first, I was looking for the next punks, because when I started looking, I think punks were around, I think the floor is maybe $1,000. And I was like, no, like, they're too expensive. Like, I want to find the next punks. Like, whatever the next punks is, I'm going to find it. So I was hanging out in a bunch of Discords. I was hanging out more on NFT Twitter, and obviously on Telegram. And as I was spending more time in the Discords, I realized that like, some of the people that were the most OG and that understood the space the best were punk owners, right? Like, they had punks as their avatars. So I was like, okay, so, I'm bullish on Ethereum. Part of the thesis was, one, how do I display status if, let's say, at the end of last cycle, people were saying, when can I buy a Lambo with my profits? My thesis was that at the end of this cycle, people would say, when can I buy a punk with my profits? And so that was part of the thesis. But then also was like, just understanding the wealth effect and how that works in the real world and how that would work in crypto is, like, if I made a bunch of money this cycle and I wanted to display that wealth off to my friends or to my peer group, how can I do it digitally in a non-tacky manner, right? Like, you could buy this historically significant, cool project and use it as your profile picture. And those were like kind of like the two tenets to my thesis is, what I really liked about punks was that, especially at the time, it was a very, very, very undervalued call option on Ethereum. And at the time, and you still see it all the time, where people are like, oh, well, this is going to go down in terms of Ethereum. But like, I always make the case, like, it's massively outperformed Ethereum on pretty much any time frame that you can look at.
Hey, if you like this clip, be sure to like and subscribe for more crypto-related content. Also, be sure to check out the full interview and more only on realvision.com/crypto.